So we made it. We did it collectively, the universe. But also soap and clay. We got here. It's Christmas Eve. It's amazing because I got to wake up this morning and not start my mad dash to do a bajillion things involving, the shop or educating the kids because we're all on break. So I will be wearing nothing but pajamas until I have to properly open up the shop to, the public in January. So that's awesome for me. And you get pajamas because why not? That has nothing to do with today's pour, of course, because this is what I do. And I will tell you all about today's pour in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 266 of 365 days of soap. And yeah, it is Christmas Eve. It is the beginning of my break. I am very, very excited for that. I'm sure you can tell in my voice I'm actually losing it because I've been talking so very much over the past, life. Really. But this is interestingly the time of the year. Every year, it never fails. I get sick on Christmas Eve. So I hope that's not the case this year, but throughout all the things, we'll see. Today, for the 266th day of 365 days of soap, I am showing you how to do a big batch form of soaps, right? We've been doing more kind of technical how-to type stuff over the last few days, and we'll continue that through the end of the year because, it's kind of fun, and there's not a lot of really pressing things that should be out at the end of the year, and I want to save all the ideas that I have for, 2021 for 2021. So yeah, we're working with Big Batch today. And so I'm going to show you using the new women's shavers, how to take a giant batch of soap and split it into its proper, let's talk about it in the video and I can explain it better there. So to follow up on yesterday's video about master batching oils, I thought it would be fun to do a master batching soaps, really. And it actually is fun. It's a very, it's a better process than just doing one batch at a time. So these are the new shavers for the winter line. And what I'm putting in here is a jojoba bead exfoliant for the shavers because I like the shavers that have a nice exfoliant while you are lathering them up on your legs, right? Because you want to really open up those pores as much as possible and make sure that they have that they're nice and open so you get a closer shave. Now also what goes into each of these batches is a tablespoon of colloidal oatmeal in order to create a nice real big bubble, as well as it's very moisturizing, it's very soothing to the skin, so it's very good for any sort of irritation you might get from the razor. Now in addition to that, we're also putting in a tablespoon of pumice powder, and that is in order to create the, again, the exfoliant and doing all the awesome things. So again, 4 batches for this guy. It's all the same oil blend, right? And so they're all different scents. All the scents are mixed into each of these different beakers for a batch of each of these, and the colors and all of the things, and the exfoliants and the colloidal oatmeal and all the other things all going in. But the oil blend to create a big epic bubble that's also that will hold up on itself, and you know, it's the exact same recipe for all 4 of these oils. The only thing that I'm really changing out, or all 4 of these soaps, the only thing I'm really changing out is the color and the scent, right? So yeah, quadruple your batch, do the thing, and then you can pour all of them at the same time. So that is what I'm doing here. Now the oil blend for this guy is going to be, it is a 60% solid oil, so it's actually a mix of babasu and coconut in equal parts. Coconut oil, big bubble, which is delightful. Love coconut oil, very good. And so that's awesome. And then the liquid oils are karanja, olive, and castor. Castor also adds to the big bubble that you get from the coconut, which is awesome. The karanja oil is actually really good to help out with any sort of skin abrasions. So I definitely want to include that in a nice shaver soap for sure. And then the olive oil is for a nice gentle moisturizing cleanse. Now that's the remaining 40% of the batch. And again, this is 4 different soaps in one. So essentially what you do is, let's say your batch size is 54 ounces and it requires 38 ounces of oils to hit that 54 ounce total batch weight once you have put in the lye solution. So yeah, take that and multiply it by 4. And then take your water and multiply it by 4. And then take your lye and multiply it by 4. Yeah, the same thing. And then you have a big batch of soap. And then what you're going to do is measure out, you know, 54 ounces for each portion, which is what I am doing right now. I mean, that's like legitimately what this is. It's 38 ounces of oils, it's 12.54 ounces of water, and 5.46 ounces of lye. And then the appropriate usage ratings for the scent blends, and again, a tablespoon each of jojoba beads and pumice powder and colloidal oatmeal. And then the colorant goes into that, and I'm a disaster, so I like to spill on the counter because that's my life, you guys. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to it, and it actually takes basically the same amount of time to pour 4 batches at once as it does to pour just one single. So I mean, why not do it this way, really? And I thought this was a nice thing to do because in the last few weeks I've shown you kind of bigger batches than I have normally done on the channel, just because I've been doing small batches for the channel because they're easier to film. And then you get into holiday season and there's limited time in the day, right? You get a 20-minute video that is just one teeny tiny piece of my whole day for these things, and during the holiday season it's just not really feasible to do the one little batch while off screen, off camera, I'm doing the exact same soap just in big batch form. And so, you know, I'm showing you how that's done. There's really no trick to it. There's nothing really super complicated with it. You just have to make sure that your prep work is all dialed in and you are ready to, you know, just go. This is a very easy thing though, obviously, because it's not, you know, it's a single color batch of soap. And so this is easier. Now with batches wherein you're doing multiple like colors or swirls or layers or whatever, the same process still sort of exists. You're just using, again, you're multiplying by 4, or depending on how your bar is meant to look when it's all said and done, like well, with like a peppermint mocha bar that I think I've shown you on the channel at this point, I did 1 double batch of the brown, and that made, you know, 3 big things of soap. And then I did another double batch to do the red and the white to go on top of it. It's still the same concept. Like, you don't have, you can split your batches, if you're doing big batch form, into manageable chunks. So you can pour, you know, 6 molds, 4 molds, 10 molds at a time within reason. And it's not it's not hard. Like none of this. This is not complicated. Again, I'm just measuring out everything into all of their, you know, each little portion, putting in the scent blend and doing the things, and then it all gets poured into their individual molds. And it again, it takes as much time, slightly longer, than pouring one batch at a time. And so for efficiency, yeah, do the thing. Also, this like weird sort of stylized whatever with the image, with the filming right now, this was not intentional with like the kind of highlighty whatever. I honestly think there was just a smudge on my camera, and that's going to exist for the entirety of this video. And I guess I shouldn't have said anything, because maybe you would think that I learned how to edit and I'm doing something fun with camera work, but I'm not. I didn't learn how to edit. I'm not a videographer. I'm just a soap maker, and there's a smudge on my camera. So now let's go pour all these guys and see, you know, what they do. It does look super cute though, doesn't it? Like it's all like it was intentional. I don't know. I don't just let things roll. This is a little bit distracting to me, looking at the image and the way that it's all kind of weird and stylized. So I felt the need to let you know that that was not the intention. But yeah, everything's been, you know, mixed up and ready to go and weighed out appropriately. And look at that. That is the perfect amount for that mold. And then you know, move on to the next one. And there are super ways to determine how much each mold that you have. There are lots of ways to determine, and like maths ways to determine how much each of your molds will hold. And you can do that with like the length and the width times pi and all the things. You can do that, but I don't. Just, you know, take it and fill it up, like put it on your scale, and then just pour water into it. And then, you know, like that's easy too. That totally works, no? And then on to the darker one. Now this is actually an activated charcoal one. I used, for the winter line, I used the flannel that I used for the Mary bar, the dark kiss that I used for the Winnie bar, the magic that I used in the summertime for the magic blend, and it's called Yummy, and that was actually the one that you just saw. It's actually a dupe from something from Lush that I picked up a bajillion years ago and never used. And so it smells good. I thought maybe we should use it, and we haven't used it before, so cool. That's what the shavers are. And all the information is on the website as far as what the scent notes and everything are with them. So, you know, that's awesome. But yeah, it's just as simple as that. Like, that is easy peasy. Look at that. We have 4 beautiful batches of women's shavers ready to go, and they will get C-popped, and we will pop them out of these PVC molds and cut them tomorrow and see what we have inside, which is, you know, solid soap. Okay, now this actually does look like I'm trying to be stylized with it though, because this is the next day and the camera still has this weird whatever on it, this like smudge. And that doesn't make sense because it got moved and it got whatever. I super swear I'm not doing this on purpose. This is not, again, I'm not trying to become a videographer. That's not, I make soap. And this is actually kind of hard to get the cutter through, because in order to get them out of the PVC mold, I freeze my soaps. And usually I'm patient enough to wait for them to completely thaw, but in this case I wasn't. And so there's that. And so it's essentially like cutting through, well, frozen soap, really, with a guitar wire. And so that's the thing. But that one is super duper cute, and that one would be the, oh, that's the flannel. And it's a delightful blend. For anybody who actually got the Mary bars, you know how great those smelled. They were amazing for sure. And this one here is the magic bar. This is the magic, and it's lovely and smells amazing. And again, you have the exfoliant from the pumice and the jojoba beads, you have the awesome colloidal oatmeal, you have a super big bubble from the coconut oil and the castor oil to create a really great long-lasting, you know, shaver that exfoliates your legs before you shave them, but also creates a nice big lather that you can use as a guide mark for the shaving experience. And then you are left with, you know, moisturized skin instead of having, you know, the skin that looks like alligator. It's a thing. It's especially a thing in the winter months. It's not fun at all. And this one would be the Dark Kiss, I think. Yeah, that's totally the Dark Kiss. And it's, you know, everything looks great. That is not, there's nothing wrong with these soaps whatsoever. Like, again, big batch, do the thing. Just quadruple the batch, because that's, you know, the thing. And this one will discolor a little bit more because the Dark Kiss, you saw it discolor in the Winnie bar. And so it will discolor more as it is exposed to open air to be more of a, you know, caramel color than this, which is good. You can kind of see the ring around it, and that's how dark it's essentially going to get when it's fully cured out. And then this is the Yummy, and it's the activated charcoal bar, which I like. It's like an extra double whammy with all of it because it has the activated charcoal, which is very detoxifying and all that jazz, and that color again will continue discoloring in the inside, so it will look more like the beautiful black on the outside once it has been exposed to air for a little bit. But yeah, no, again, that's Masterbatching oils, super simple. You saw it yesterday. Masterbatching soaps, also super simple. And there are like actual companies out there that only, especially outside of the United States, where they actually have to register all of their soap recipes, that will use the exact same recipe for multiple bars of soap, because again, they have to register and have their soaps approved, their recipes approved. And so this is a good way to do all of that. Just quadruple your batch and then you get 4 awesome soaps in one fell swoop. And I'm totally here for that. And that is at day 266, showing you how to do a big batch with our new women's shavers for the winter months. And they're great. They're moisturizing, they're bubbly, they smell great, they're pretty. It's all a win. And yeah, it's pretty easy to do, right? You have your big batch, you take a batch and you multiply about however much you want to ultimately make. And since I use the exact same oil blend for all of my women's shavers, it made it very easy. It's a little bit more prep work, making sure that you have your colors and your scents and your pumices and your clays and everything lined up in their individual containers. But then it's just a matter of measuring everything out, getting all that in at once, and pouring. And it takes essentially the same amount of time to make a bunch of soaps as it does to make, you know, like a dozen. So there's that big batch. It's there's super nothing complicated with it. The only thing that I would say is either get yourself an industrial drill with a long paddle, or be prepared to drop your spatula in a really big container, because that can happen too. Yeah, so I hope you guys had a good time today for the 266th day. I hope you guys are having an excellent Christmas Eve. Holiday traditions are very, very important regardless of everything else around. And so I hope you guys are getting to enjoy those in some form this year. For me, I have so far today, and that kicks off with not putting on real clothes. And I'm going to keep that rolling through the rest of the day. So yeah, I am out of here for today. I am going to go hang out with the Soap and Clay Kidlets and Mr. Soap and Clay and do all the awesome Christmas Eve stuff. And I hope you guys get to do so as well, you know, with your families, not with mine, because they're here and you're there and all the things. Yeah, so again, thank you for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. As always, I appreciate all of you. You guys have an excellent day, evening, eve thing, and I will see you guys all again tomorrow for Christmas Day. Bye.